Adam Meyer of Mill City Luthier in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And here we go again. We got a really nice one. 1945 Martin D35. This has been considered player grade guitar. I like to call it well loved. It is in really good shape. There are a few very concerning things that need to be done about this. I'll get close-ups of them in a minute. We've got a split going through the bridge, so we need to replace this bridge. Inside, I'll get the endoscope in and show you what's going on with the bridge plate, but there have been attempts to prevent having to replace the bridge plate done before, but those obviously aren't working because we got a cracked bridge. That's a sign that the bridge plate is just too weak. There's things like tuners have been replaced and whatnot. We're going to be doing a back crack repair on this, and get some glamour shots of this rosewood on the back. It's some Brazilian rosewood, and I was fortunate enough to get a scrap of actual Brazilian rosewood to make some cleats. So we'll be going through doing those back repairs and just general setup and whatever else this guitar needs. This is going to be a real delight to work on, and I hope you enjoy it. So we have a 1945 Martin here, and it isn't a make or break thing if I don't use era correct wood, but I at least want to make an attempt, just like using era correct glue, try and find some wood that's at least close in age, so that everything kind of goes together with the project. So I want to give some thanks because I was able to procure some wood for this instrument. First of all, Luthier Mottola, Luthier Mottola out in Boston. His name is R.M. Mottola. If you can look him up out in that area. I needed some Brazilian rosewood. I went on Reddit asking if anybody had some scraps, just something that's not getting used, and he had some pieces and sent them to me. So I give some thanks to him for that. I also want to give thanks to Bingen Violins. They are here in Minneapolis, and I was able to meet Peter Bingen partway through this process. I hadn't started making the bridge for this guitar yet, and just in conversation, talking about wood stock, and turns out he had a 100-year-old cello fingerboard I could use, and some maple from I believe he said a 1984 cello neck blank, hadn't actually been carved into a cello. He's kind enough to provide me with some of these wood pieces for this old guitar. Putting old wood into an old guitar, it's always nice when you can do that. So I'm going to provide some contact information and some social media in the description of the video, and maybe a little what his Instagram looks like over here. And once again, thanks to Bingen Violins. Well, like the rest of this body, this back here looks like it's definitely been refinished. We've got some really nice swirls in that Brazilian rosewood there. Take a little glamour shot here. Not going to be doing much on the outside here, but we do have some back cracks. Back down here, as you can tell, if I get the light to reflect on, you can see somebody fixed these but did not follow through and sand and buff. I'm going to leave that alone. I do not, something this old, it's been refinished before, really want to avoid any sanding and buffing on the finish. It could be extremely thin. So I'm only worrying about doing some actual attempts at repair. Like up here we've got what might be a crack that has not been tended to, so I will make sure I try and get some glue pumped into that. But primarily down here, I'll show you inside as well. This crack here has some cleats on the inside. There's a bunch of glue. It's really messy. This isn't a showpiece guitar. It's definitely a workhorse, but I'm going to make that look more presentable. It was just done just kind of sloppy work. No idea who did it. Could have been done decades ago, back when this wasn't some super sought after guitar. It was an old guitar, but the vintage market for collectible guitars wasn't what it is today. So I'm going to go through and make sure that is more presentable. But yeah, Really nice looking guitar. Alright, let's get a close look at this bridge. I can tell you right now, this is not the original bridge for this guitar. The dead giveaway right behind the existing saddle. There's a filled in slot, you can see that, of a conventional saddle. The old Martins had the saddle come all the way out the edge here. This one here, as you can see, it did not come out. So somebody, probably a real Martin bridge, but with this guitar it looks like it's been refinished. You need to take the bridge off to do that. There may have been existing problem, or maybe this exact same issue had already happened and they just put a new bridge on and moved forward. But yeah, this is not an original Martin bridge, so I'll be recreating something, but it won't be exact to this. Keeping in mind, not only did we fill in that slot, but the saddle is further forward. So I'm going to have to measure out the scale length and just see if anything about this is correct to begin with. If this saddle is correct, what I would do is I'll recreate this bridge, but add wood on this side. Bring it forward so that we have more wood in front of this saddle to support it. And I would not slot for the saddle until I've actually glued the bridge on. That way I can put it in the correct spot. We know the intonation is going to be correct, so on and so on and so on. So the big thing here, we've got this crack going through the bridge pins. That's because the bridge plate's completely worn out inside. Some of you are going to freak out for no justifiable reason about got to keep the original bridge plate. No, this one has to go. It just has to go. It cannot support the strings anymore. It's either you replace it or you hang this on the wall without string tension, but this guitar is being ripped apart. In order to save this guitar's life, we have to replace the bridge plate. There is no compromise on that. What's happening is the pinholes between the strings have been getting gouged away. I'll get a look inside here soon. Other pieces of wood have been placed over that to try and, limp the guitar along. But the thing is, as that bridge plate keeps getting chipped away more and more, between these bridge pins, the wood is all getting really, really weak and pulling upward, and that has caused the bridge to crack. So the bridge isn't cracked because the wood shrank and the pins forced and whatever. No, the bridge is cracked because of what's inside. So now we gotta go and take a look inside. A little endoscope here attached to my phone, and I'm gonna stick this inside so you can see what's happening with this bridge plate in here. See if I can get this all edited together and have something nice to see here. There you go. There's our bridge plate, and somebody glued another piece of wood on top of that. There are, people do this type of stuff from time to time, but you're basically just trying to avoid the inevitable. That bridge plate needs to be replaced. What I was told is when this was done, there was some wood that was ground up, mixed with glue or maybe just even some putty that was packed in between the string holes to try and fill everything in. So I'm gonna see if I can get that extra piece off first, see what's underneath there. But I have a feeling that whatever is under there is just ripped apart and it's just gone. So we likely just end up having to take the whole thing out. Looks like hide glue on the actual bridge plate, so that should come out easily. And take a little look around in here. We've got some cleats on the top. Those are quite large, but got another one back here. This where are we going? There's another one back here. Way back. And here's the inside view of one of those back crack repairs. A lot of glue all over the place. It's white and foamy. I'm a little worried that might be Gorilla Glue. You know, just the color and how foamed up it is. But you can see there's also 3 little strips of wood going across the crack. I'm going to at least get rid of those and do a better cleaning job. Use some actual Brazilian rosewood. Yeah, there isn't a whole lot I can do there. I'll try and get some progress pictures because, you know, this is going to be inside the guitar. I'm not going to be able to actually show you me actually doing the repair, but, you know, I'm going to improve that and get some shots of the progress along the way. So now I want to verify this saddle location. Got this little tool here. It's from Stuart McDonald. You adjust these little pins on this end. Yeah, I have this slider here. Those are the things of note on this. Otherwise, it's basically just a rod with a block at the end of it. This rests on your 12th fret. Then you will adjust the length of this so that this block butts up against the front edge of the string nut. These little needles are adjusted. I've already preset them to show the angle of where the saddle is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the front edge of the saddle. So you adjust it this way to lock it down, flip it around, and it'll show you where on the bridge you want your saddle slot to be. Pretty simple. So there's all there is to it. I'm on the 12th fret. Make sure we're all centered up. And then you just flip it around back onto the 12th fret. And yeah, that is correct. Yeah, see a close up there where our needles are. This side is pretty good. This side is not. So we're going to have to compensate the size of this bridge in order for us to have the saddle in the correct spot for all this to work right. It isn't just a matter of having the intonation right. Look how little wood there is over on this side supporting the saddle. You've got your strings pushing against that. That's weakened. You need a little bit more wood over there. Just to make sure that, you know, you don't glue this on and a couple years later the bridge is cracked through the saddle slot. I'm going to have this some more. Where it cracked, it's like the bridge is almost wants to come off in 2 pieces. So I prefer it stay together just so I can use it for reference in designing a new bridge, but just this last little bit. Yeah, it's wanting to come apart, the actual bridge. There we go. There, just look at that. There's no strength to that, no integrity. That has to be replaced. Alright, so I just tucked my little flashlight in there. Razor blade. Just going to try and catch the edge of these cleats and slice them off. There we go. It's the second one. That's mahogany. Well, get the last one out and we'll take another look at this. Well, and the cleats are removed. I'll try a few things and I'll get back to you on what's working. I'm gonna start off with like some hot water on a paper towel. Maybe it doesn't look like hide glue, but maybe get lucky and it was just foamy for whatever reason. But after that, if that really is Gorilla Glue, I believe isopropyl alcohol and or acetone will actually break it down. Best progress so far is actually just using a razor blade. If I can get my Gotta be careful, I don't cut myself. But if I can feel where the lumps of glue are, and just scrape it down, I'm getting actually pretty good results. Now I'm just taking a little 320 sandpaper, wrapping that around a razor blade. That way I can get right up against the sides and any braces in there, and just sand away what little bit of glue residue is there. This is coming out better than I expected. Turns out didn't really need to use much chemicals on this. It's just able to scrape and sand it out pretty well. Go most of the way done. Just need to get in around that neck block and make sure they get up tight against that back brace. On to removing the bridge plate. It's probably my least favorite thing to do. I gotta get my hand stuck all the way in here, hold a heating element against the bridge plate to let it heat up and get the heat up enough that the glue between the bridge plate and the top warms up enough that I can then get my pliers under there, my pry bar or whatever you would call it. I forget what it is, a claw. Yeah, here it is. I tape the thermostat to it. It regulates the heat. I just got to hold it in place with a little block, make sure I don't burn my hand. Just keep going round and round, and just wait till it finally comes. So I've been working at this for a little while, trying to get the call it piggyback bridge plate off, just to see what's under there, if it really was damaged as bad as it was. But yeah, it's just not coming out. It's it's not a thick piece of wood that was in there, which means it's really hard for me to get my claw under it to pull it out without it coming apart. That, and I'm having to heat this up long enough that if this was a situation where you just take this piece off, try and repair whatever cracks might be there and put another one on, I've got to be weakening the glue already for the main bridge plate, so might as well just pull it out. So that's the proper repair. We're just stuck having to follow through and do that. Onto the bridge plate. As I showed you before, we've got some old cello neckwood, or it was going to become a cello, but ended up getting cut up for this. I've already run through my thickness sander. I have it approximately pretty close to the original thickness. It's, we're talking hundredths of an inch thicker than the original. If you can see here, I got it out clean, but it disintegrated. It's just too old. Just doesn't want to, hold up over time. This is a little bit of the piece that was glued on, supplemental piece that was glued on over the bridge plate. That split in half. It just wasn't enough to help. So I'm just barely a little bit thicker than the original. So kind of keeping things the way Martin intended it. And to get since I don't have anything to copy, makes this a little difficult. I'm going to take a little piece of paper. I'm just going to stick it inside the guitar, underneath where it's supposed to go. And just along the braces, I press to kind of get the paper to crease. And that kind of gives me a rough outline of where to go. And I try and get a little, stick a pencil through the string holes so I know where this is going to line up. Then it's just a matter of sticking it on here, tracing it out. And I cut it out intentionally oversized so that I can shape and get it put back into place, kind of figure out the right size. I'll be checking with a mirror and everything, getting it held into place, make sure that we have this basically the same thing that was in there originally. I can't guarantee that it's exactly the same size because, well, but I'm going to get it as close as I can. And yeah, that's it's the method I do. There isn't anything really complicated about it. And this is what I've got to work with. Just holding it in place. Like I said, try and get a little pen through the hole there. And as as we know, up here we did not have this shape of a bridge plate. It would be approximately like that, and we'll say about like that, where it meets in that corner. So, but at least I have something here to start with. So get this all stuck down on here, draw it out, and get it cut out. Right here you see I've got it all cut out. I have a line going across here where that's supposed to line up with the string holes. I just kind of, when I was drawing it out on the wood, made a line there. Put it in place. It's going to be a little hard to actually show you on camera. But the treble side lines up perfect. The bass side is that way. It's to the butt end of the guitar. So I need to get this to pivot just a little bit. So I'll be sanding back here, and just getting it to line up just right. Fresh, hot hide glue for all the repairs on this. A final detail about this bridge plate. I went in and I used some potassium permanganate, mix it with water, and I applied it to the surface of the bridge plate once it was glued in. I'm not finding a clip of it. I may have forgotten to get a video or a picture of it. What it does is it oxidizes the wood to make it look like it's old. I didn't want to leave this where if somebody looked inside the guitar and there's this bright white bridge plate sitting in there. The idea is to get it to kind of be a darker brown to blend in with the braces and the soundboard and everything. Make it look like there's been dust bunnies and whatever rolling around on it for decades. I have a little clip over here, as you can see, from a different video of when I apply it to a piece of maple, how it'll darken. If you get it too dark, you can always sand it to lighten it up, or you can just add a little more to make it a little bit darker, whatever works out for that particular situation. Alright, so first thing I have to do here is just get this bridge glued back together so I can copy it. I'm just going to use a little super glue. It's never getting used again. It's just purely for tracing purposes. Once I have this glued together, then I'll be measuring out. Should have just enough. It appears as, you know, if well, it'd be this way. The bass side of the bridge is usually a little bit thicker than the treble side. We should have just enough thickness to get this cut out of here. But glue that, trim this off, and then kind of see what we can do about tracing this. Also need to get this flattened out, and yeah, I'll just probably on a belt sander get the bottom leveled first, and then see what we have left for thickness. I'll jump ahead here a little bit. Got this glued together for tracing out. I've cut this out. I've sanded the back of it. As you can see, we'll have enough thickness here. I definitely want to do it this way. Fingerboard peg head would have been that way, body would have been that way on the cello. It's a little thinner over here. I'm going to end up probably just doing this by hand or taking it on my belt sander or whatever, instead of running it through my thickness sander. I'm just too close to the thickness of what I need that I don't want to go past. So I'm going to end up tracing this out on paper because I want to do it this way, and I can't really attach it to the bottom of the bridge or the fingerboard. So I'm going to trace this out on paper, then I'll attach that to this, and then on my belt sander, this is all close enough, I'll just get the outline, and then I'll start working the other parts of this. I got to remember, as I'm making this, we're not copying an actual vintage bridge. We're copying one that was modified, and that saddle is just too close to the front edge. I'm going to need to make this a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to bring it back from the edge of the paper just a little bit, kind of guessing about how much I want. I'll do, it's like about 1/8 of an inch. That should be much more than what's needed. I'll just draw this out. We'll cut the paper out, and then I can stick that to the fingerboard. That should do it. Alright, I have the outline pretty close. Once again, we're going further out from the saddle, but I've replicated the back contour pretty accurately. I'm doing it by hand, and this isn't original. Got to remember that. So I'm trying to cover up the footprint that's there, which may not be the original footprint, so whatever. But yeah, went through this because I was really unsure if I had a thick enough piece of ebony here to recreate this. And now that I have it all shaped out, so I'm wanting to do that first instead of wasting a bunch of time on something that goes nowhere. I'm using my calipers. And, can check here. Made sure to keep the thicker side at the base just in case. And I'm definitely got plenty of wood there. So I'm going to stick this to a piece of scrap MDF because I know that's flat. Stick it down real well. I'm going to run it through my thickness sander until I get to the thickness of the bridge that was on, and I'll stop there. That way I can then take this, stick it on to the new bridge. I'll be able to replicate the string holes because I don't want to be plugging any holes in the top and re-drilling or anything. We're not going there. I want to replicate this spacing, which probably isn't very accurate either. But yeah, it's turning out just fine. We all know now that if you need to make a new acoustic bridge, you can make one from a scrap cello fingerboard. Alright, so I've attached the old bridge to what is going to be the new bridge here. I flattened the bottom well enough that I can just double stick tape it here, and it's stuck really well. And we all know that our bridge pin holes are tapered. They do not go straight down like a straight drill bit. Using this 3/16 because it fits the holes here pretty well, and I can mark, a center point there. I did the 2 E's. I scribed a line from one to the other. That way I can go through here and I can feel with the brad point that I'm on that center line, so I don't end up with, uneven bridge pin holes. I have them all on the same line, but I'm going to go back and drill with a smaller bit, and then I'll use my actual bridge pin reamer to open these up to get them to the correct size. It's on here. Go. I've got my 6 holes marked really well. drill these out. Then it's time to finish off the carving and get this glued on. So this is still just roughed out, 80 grit sandpaper and Dremel sanding drum. Just wanting to double check because I deliberately added wood here. I am not getting rid of this ridge yet, so time to just double check everything. And I did make this ever so slightly larger than the original along the back side, like 64th to 32nd of an inch, just to try and hide a little bit of the damage from this bridge being removed before and having other work done. So a little piece of tape here, that's where that's going to lay. I've got it, you can't see it from the camera, but I'm lined up with the string holes, the existing ones. Going to bring in this saddle locating tool again, set it on the 12th fret. And these pointers are where the front edge of the saddle should go. That is the common measurement for it. You can see here, that is the treble side. Let's see here. Oops. Get that back in place. I'm a little over a 1/16 of an inch from this front edge. So we did a good job there. This is going to turn out just fine. I'm going to glue this on, like I said before, glue it on, then route the saddle slot, because then we're going to measure again, know that we're putting it in the right spot rather than just marking it, setting it on a table somewhere in case whatever happens, it isn't exactly in the right spot when we glue it on. Then we've got a little deviation. Well, I want to do it once this is glued on. Another thing to remember, I haven't sanded all the way through on this yet. I'm going to measure how thick we are right at the treble E string. And I'm still a little bit thick there. See how much. Yeah, I can take off like almost another 20 thousandths. So this edge will come forward even more, so we're getting even closer. It's like just barely enough wood out of that cello fingerboard to do this, like just right. Sand it out nicely. I don't have the middle holes reamed out all that much. The two E's I do. So make sure I can line this up with what's there before. I'm still have that tape for the back edge. That all lines up just right. And since the front edge we're bringing out, it's going to go over some lacquer here, so I want to mark this and then scrape that off because we want wood to wood for gluing purposes. Go. See it. Some of this already broke out, so I'm not damaging anything, but we need to get this in here removed so we have got a good contact. Everything's prepped, ready to glue together. I already went through and did a test run clamping it, make sure that I've got a good fit. Everything goes together perfectly. I also like to do kind of a little cross hatch on the bottom of the bridge, just to kind of give more surface area for the glue to dig into. And again, just like the bridge plate, got fresh hot hide glue here. And yeah. Now I'm going to finish off the back crack. I didn't actually have to fix the repair, but I cleaned everything out inside. Want to put a cleat on that just to help make sure that everything is going to stay stable. So I've got a scrap here of actual Brazilian rosewood. Cut out some little cleats, just really small. Don't need much of anything on these. And my method is I like to put a little magnet on the outside and on the inside, right where the crack is. That way, even if I can't see where the crack is on the inside, whether it's on the back or the top or wherever, I can tell where the magnet is. I can put the cleat up against the magnet. It's on the crack. Pretty easy. So yeah, there isn't much to it. Once again, a little bit of hide glue on this, so it's we're keeping everything all era correct. See that? Got the magnet. It's moving around because I've got my hand inside. Do the same thing out here. So we've got our crack. Got to catch it in the light. Right over there. Feel inside. Make sure that the magnet, yep, it's clear of everything. Because we've got the neck block here. There's a crack where the neck block is. I obviously can't put a cleat there. Put it right there. Time to get this saddle slot finished off. Just gonna a little pencil line here. Go. So that's going to be the front edge. Got decent amount of wood here on the front. I'll be jigging this up. You got to remember, this is the type of saddle that comes out the sides. I'm going to be routing all the way out past the ends here, and I don't want to go too deep, just enough to kind of mimic that old Martin style where it just kind of terminates out there on the side. I went through, I reamed all the holes out to fit the bridge pins. Everything was going in just right. Beveled the top back just a touch of those holes. Got to get the saddle made here. Got to go about this differently than making a conventional modern one. I don't have to really jam it down in. It doesn't have any wiggle. Fit is neither loose nor tight. This is maybe ever so slightly more snug than a modern style saddle where it fits in a saddle slot that has sides on it. But what I've done is I got to fit and just take a little pencil, mark out the sides here. I'm going to take it on my belt sander. I'm going to grind this away. And the frets are at roughly a 16-inch radius, so I marked a 16-inch radius. I'm kind of guessing at what the height is needed right now. The saddle slot, I routed it as close as possible to the depth in this one, but we're re-gluing a new bridge on and everything. I don't know exactly how high I need this to be. So I'm making sure it's just a little bit taller than needed. That way I can go back and trim it down. If I go too short now, I got to start all over. So I've got the saddle done. This is for all completely set up, intonated and everything. I cheated and put a little compensation for the B on there. Why not? I mean, this guitar has been through a lot. I'm still, even though it doesn't really have to be, I'm going to glue it into the saddle slot just so that, you're changing strings, it doesn't fall out. And really, you don't have a reason to pull this out anyways, because to adjust height with these types of saddles, you got to carve down the top. Modern ones, you pull them out and you belt sander on the bottom. It's not that way with this one. I'm going to use this type of hide glue just because I need to keep moving with this. The other stuff's in the fridge. I forgot to put it out in the warmer. This is, I'd say, non-structural hide glue. It's going to be good for putting this. It's going to hold the saddle in place just fine. I'm kind of keeping everything with hide glue, so on, so on, so on. If you had a corner of your peg head chip off, you can glue it back on with this just fine. I wouldn't use this for like a bridge re-glue or anything like that. So I'm going to get this, put some a decent amount at the ends. Not a lot, not all the way through, because if you ever need to replace the saddle because it chips or something, you want to be able to get it out. But we're going to put it in, and I haven't fully carved the ends of the saddle yet. I'm going to put this in place, get the strings on. It'll be getting all set, letting the glue set up. And I'm going to sand this all nice and flush, and everything's going to look great. These little sanding sticks come in nice for little details like this. I'm going to do a little demonstration here using my strobe tuner. I've come to really like using that saddle locating tool. It's pretty reliable. It isn't perfect. Of course, there are ways to get this even more refined, but as far as just establishing a line where things are right in that kind of happy medium, it's really good at that. We've got a 1945 guitar here. This isn't measured out as well with fret placement and everything as a modern guitar, but we can get things really good. So the idea of a strobe tuner, it's going to say the pitch. You see that there? It says E, and if it's flat, it's kind of rolling in that direction. If it's sharp, it's rolling the other way, clockwise. So we want to come up and to get it the open string in tune. Let's hold, well, almost right about there. And we play a 12th fret. That's pretty darn close. And if you're wondering, I have a little clip-on microphone here on the soundboard because there's no pickup in the guitar. Let's check this B. The B, I made a compensation on it, just like a modern saddle where it's brought back. Get that, that's pretty good. And there we go. Just ever so slightly sharp, but most people aren't going to be able to hear that variation. Here we go with the G. Got the G just about right. And that's one where we need to come forward. I filed the saddle a little bit forward to get that one close. Otherwise that one would have been definitely off. But as you can see, we're pretty darn close with that. The D. That one's just about right on. A. There we go. Pretty darn close. Once again, not perfect, just like really good. And our final one here, the low E. Now these ones usually you need to pull them back a little bit extra. Get this close. So there we go. And that's pretty darn close there as well. So yeah, it's that kind of thing. This location is probably the ideal location, regardless of what was done on the other bridges. There you go, a 1945 Martin D28. This is the acoustic guitar. All the others are imposters. I know plenty of people want to debate that, but I mean, come on, it's the D20, it's the Dreadnought. This is what they're all about. Yeah, obviously not a beauty queen. She's been up and down the road multiple times. This had a couple really interesting left turns. I didn't even know about the option of having some old wood put on this. As you can see, this is our cello fingerboard. That's where it is now. I I was about to make a new bridge and glue a new ebony bridge onto this guitar. I just happened to meet a violin builder at that time, right after I took the bridge off this guitar. So things just worked out great. And also with the bridge plate. So it's the kind of thing that sometimes things just pan out just right at the right time. Also, I'd like to make a comment. Don't be afraid about taking your guitar into someone who's really qualified, does a good job. This guitar, obviously, like, this is what we have left for the bridge plate. That wasn't holding anything up. This desperately needed the bridge plate replaced. And there's so many people out there that are just terrified to have that part of their guitar replaced, that think that the guitar is going to be changed forever. I say it's going to be changed for the better. Your guitar, without that, it's like it's got a heart that's breaking down. It can't pump blood properly. You need to get the repair done. Make sure you go to somebody who's qualified to do it and have the job done right, and your guitar is going to last. This guitar, I just added many years to its lifespan. Had we left it the way it was, just kind of eking it along a little bit, eventually something catastrophic would have happened. The bridge could have ripped the top apart, and then we've got much bigger problems. So if your guitar is hurting, get it taken care of. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed working on this guitar. It's like I was gonna say it again, I haven't done this kind of situation before. This is the first time for me. I've made many bridges before. This is the first time I used a 100-year-old cello fingerboard. So this has been a real interesting one. I hope you enjoyed the video. Any comments, leave them below. You can contact me directly. That information is on the my main YouTube page under About, and we'll see you next time.